played really well. Probably one of his best games in midfield. How much do you think he's going to improve because of this role as a striker, as a midfielder, if at all?
I think it's giving him a different perspective as well about the position and how we link the attacking midfielder's role with our nines. He has spent certainly much more time in the last few weeks in training around the box, so probably that's going to give him as well another taste, another smell, and a really good sense of timing of how he can hurt the opposition, and that's something very, very positive. And I agree with you that he played a really good game. I went in midfield the weekend, and again, now he feels really comfortable in both of them, which is good, and on the right as well, because I think he can play on the right as well.
In the past, you've spoken about specificity and players being designed for certain positions. You look at him, he can play in two, I can play in two, Bukayo came through at left back, or White changed position a few times. How beneficial is that, and how important is it for a player to have that experience and to move them around?
Yeah, well, if you don't have the numbers, you need to have something else, and having the capacity for a lot of players not only to understand the position but actually to execute it at the level that they are doing. Big credit to them, and very much needed for the team, especially with the numbers that we have at the moment. Thank you.
Mikel, 2 years ago you spoke about Saka being nearly targeted by other players in terms of rough tackles, and you called on referees to kind of protect him more. It was a nasty challenge on the weekend, and the referee was quite quick in his decision. Do you think that he is now being protected more, that referees see challenges like that and act quicker on it because they want to kind of get those sort of tackles out of the game?
Well, I don't know. I think he made a really quick call. It was very far from me to see it, but he looked really decisive, and after looking at it, I think it was the right decision.
And just afterwards, he got a lot of stick from the fans who were being booed and jeered, but he seemed to kind of struggle up with a smile. Just how hard have you worked with him on that maturity and that reacting to being tackled, getting up and ignoring the outside noise and being able to focus on his game?
Very difficult to work on that. We cannot really replicate it. I think he needs to stay focused and present in the moment, and make sure that the noise doesn't affect his game, his decision making especially. It is tricky sometimes, but I think he handled it really well, because the worst thing that you can do is start reacting to that, start to pay attention to that, and he needs to stay focused on the game. That's it.
But for someone so young, emotionally, you wouldn't be surprised if he did react to that. So what makes him different?
That's on his nature, really. It's not something that we have coached or something that we can take credit from. That's him. He's really calm. He's very rational. He's very intelligent, and the way he manages his emotions. So that's down to him.
Karen?
What are you going to do now after tomorrow's game before the semi-final? Are you giving the players time off? What's that 6 days going to look like?
Yeah, they will have a day or two off, and then a full preparation, 3-4 days, about what we have to do to beat PSG. So we're going to have some time to recover as well. Some players are going to need that, and then full focus on what's coming.
Were you doing anything different over that time? I remember sort of a few years ago, Poch had these players walking over coals, Pochettino at Tottenham. He had them walking over hot coals before the Champions League final. Yeah, literally. To try to get their mentality right for the biggest game that they had.
I would think was the best approach. Whatever we do is what we feel is that what the team needs, what the players need. And if they need more tension, less tension, be more emotional, more tactical, we'll try to manage to get the levels in the right way to be as prepared as possible and ready to win.
Were you taking advice from anyone before this game? Would you speak to any managers about playing PSG? Obviously, is there anyone you would talk to? Arsenal, for example?
I will think about it and do what I feel, yes. Thank you.
How beneficial is the scheduling? Obviously, it's because of the FA Cup or semi-finals of the weekend, but PSG previous round had a fixture moved between the Aston Villa leg. So to have that planning, how much does it benefit and the coaching staff?
Yeah, it's going to give us more time to prepare the game. Very unusual. So it's fine. It's we take it. We are very short in numbers at the moment, so that little break, I think, is going to be good for us.
In terms of the flexibility of your players positioning-wise, like bigger picture in football, how far do you think that's going to trend? And is it something that's coming from academies in the past decade?
Probably, and better understanding of and game dynamics and spacing and a lot of things. But as well, you have to develop those players, because it's not just the acknowledgement or understanding the positions. I think the different position, one of the trickiest thing is that brings different physical challenges. I think the game is very different. You play as a fullback or as a centre back, as a holding midfielder, or as an 8 or as a 9, and you have to be very prepared for that, because the demands are very, very different.
Okay, can I have a final quick two? John first.
Hi.
Hi.
Is the Champions League run made up for what's maybe a little bit of a disappointing Premier League season?
Sorry?
As the Champions League, how far you've gone, great nights like Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Does that make up for the disappointment of the Premier League, which doesn't quite?
It's not about making up. I think we are very, very clear about what we are doing in the Premier League and how much we are doing in the Premier League with everything that happened. So I don't think we have to make up anything.
Okay, now finally Matt.
Okay, Mikel. So we mentioned earlier that Liverpool players will be watching the match tomorrow night and potentially celebrating. How is that a motivation for you and the squad to try and delay their title celebrations?
I don't need any motivation to win a football match in the Premier League. I'm super motivated for tomorrow to go out there and try to be better than Palace and beat them.
Okay, thanks guys.